Now, we're going to go to the next story, and it's got to do with the president meeting the media yesterday. Let's listen to the president of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama. Now, here I will react to Miankasa main news editor, Erastus Asare. I write up team of Facebook, and I feel, say, from all his experience and the work he has done on the ground, covering Galamsey stories, when I read the write-up, I realized, say, he was more emotional. He wasn't factual. And until he puts his emotions aside, he will understand, say, what the president said yesterday. No president in the Republic of Ghana is willing. The willingness is there, and we are seeing glimpses of it. Maybe he does not see it that way. It does not mean that the government isn't working or fighting illegal mining. This is the president of the Republic of Ghana.
Well, expected, or I never deluded myself that the fight against illegal gold mining or Galamsey was going to be an event. I mean, definitely, there's no magic wand. The decay has eaten so much over the last 8 years that it's going to take a lot of work to be able to overcome it. And I didn't expect that in 18 months we would declare victory in the fight. As the livelihoods of about 4 million Ghanaians is on small-scale mining. And so it's going to be a process. It's not going to be an event. But we will not give up. We have a determination to get on top of it. The Gold Board was introduced as part of reforms. And if the Gold Board was not introduced, I mean, those who were taking the profits from the small-scale mining sector were the foreign traders who were taking that money away. In 6 months, we have exported over $6 billion. About $4 billion of that money was going to go into the private or foreign traders. And so the first thing is you shut the stable door so that the horse doesn't escape, which is what we've done. So if it's from illegal sources, it's from legal sources. At least it's our land that is being destroyed. So let us get the benefit of it instead of foreign traders. So that's the first thing. But if you go and read the Gold Board law, it has a requirement for tracking and tracing. And as I speak, the Gold Board is working with an organization to put on a track and trace system. And so they're going to see those who have legitimate license requirements so that they can assist them in responsible mining so that we can buy that gold off them. Once we do tracking and tracing, it's in our interest because then we can export under LBMA and we'll get more profit from exporting under LBMA. So the Gold Board is not just about buying gold, it's also about financing responsible small-scale mining. And mind you, small-scale mining is not illegal in this country. It's provided for in our laws. It's just that in many cases, we've not even trained the miners about what responsible mining is. You just see anybody who gets an excavator just goes anywhere and starts digging and washing. But small-scale mining takes place in Australia. It takes place in Canada. And so as I speak, we are organizing a trip for the Small-Scale Miners Association to Australia. Australia has given us an invitation to bring them to come and see how small-scale mining is done without destroying the environment. And so that's something we're going to take an advantage of. And the Gold Board is leading, and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources are leading that charge. Only recently, our Minister for Lands and Natural Resources came back from Australia. And so we need to train these small-scale miners. The gold is a blessing that God gave us. It's a natural resource that God gave us to make life better for our people. It's just that the way and manner in which we are going about it is causing destruction to the environment. But it is the result of an increase in the gold price. And if you've read widely, you find that the same thing is happening in Peru. It's happening in several other countries because of the heightened gold price. And so for whatever little gold you are able to find, you get more money. Galamsey was not a problem when gold was $2,000 per ounce. But today, gold is pushing $3,600 per ounce. And because of the lack of jobs, jobless growth for several decades, there are a lot of young people who are coming out of school who have no job work to do. And so for them, that is the only livelihood. And so we must not think just about chasing them all over the place without providing alternatives for them. Because the alternative is that they should stay home and starve or go out and do something deviant. And that's why we came up with the cooperative mining concept, for which we recently lost our colleagues. They were going to launch it, the first of its kind in Anglo, because one of the things we said was that we're going to let the big mining companies seed off some of their concessions. Some of them have 400, 500 miles square. And there's gold in some parts of those concessions that they will never mine because the grams per ton of ore is so low. But yet, if you put a small-scale miner there, he can mine it effectively. And so we've discussed with them, and they've all agreed. And so Anglo Ashanti was the first. They've cut a part of the concession, and that is what Omani and Murtala and Co. were going to launch, cooperative mining, so that we'll move the small-scale miners from the forest reserves where they're causing destruction and settle them on the concessions where the big mining companies have seeded. As I speak, Newmont has demarcated an area for these small-scale miners. And we have asked the big companies to mentor them and supervise them and make sure they do the right thing. So that was going to be an alternative for moving them out of the forest and other places so that they can mine under the supervision of those companies. And that's where our colleagues were going when the helicopter crashed. And so it's a program that we're going to continue so that we can give them an alternative, not just go chase them around without finding something else for them to do.
So that was the president, and we all heard him. Gold, Ghana Japade, and Okasano say, I'm not here to lie to anybody because we're president of Ghana or a Ghanani or Nyakora. Or say no him said the fight against Galamsey wasn't going to be easy. Inti Oban no him say ekono ebedin because for the past 8 years, Jirimana or Sha na ekosono. It wasn't going to be a walk in the park. But then, this man, when he was speaking, Endrano, he did not blame anybody. He told Ghana for say, "Dear ye be ye, ana ye ediabwa ama Galamsey no akofom no, ena abain ye." Na okasa no okanse bebre. In fact, menoltia ye kase, nipa wotwe a omne helicopter koto fom no, it was the fight against Galamsey. Enti no muko wuye. Nipa wotwe. Inti, that alone should tell you that the government, the willingness of the government is there. The willingness is there. Why Tina Aban with the gold board by? There is a reason why gold board was established. Gold board was not established just to do what? To buy gold and sell or whatever. Gold board was established to make sure, say, obe protect your gold, you know, and also make sure, say, people don't take advantage of that and destroy our water bodies. There are measures. Gold board, no, as time goes on, no, they are going to what? Implement through the Ministry of Land and make sure, say, time air cost no, na emrano ye jumano, then we start to get the good out of the bad. The president never came to pretend and speak grammar. Emma Ghana be arguing say, Obekambro for there. He was blunt and straightforward. In fact, before I make Erastus Asare don't write up on the the president made statement or can the omo year when it comes to the fight against Galamsey. 8 months against 8 years. But the reason why I don't want us to even think about for those 8 years and then say, John Mahama and Bryan, they are not looking at the damage that has been done. They are looking at the way they would solve the damage, the problem that has been caused. In Tandra's OTA president now, you never heard a president who was saying naysayers. You never heard a president who was saying my predecessor. You never heard a president who was saying and this was done. You had a president who was positive, progressive. This is what we are doing. Now, these are some of the things President Trika wants them, things they are doing about Galamsey or Omode solving.
Additionally, in the extractive sector, the Gold Board is formalizing Ghana's gold trade. As of today, gold trading is a reserve for only Ghanaians. This strategic move will help maximize national benefits, enhance transparency, and ensure that the wealth generated from our natural resources is reinvested in our communities and national development. We're also taking decisive action to protect our environment and natural resources from destruction. A dedicated national task force is currently in place, actively combating the menace of illegal mining. As a result of their operations, hundreds of excavators, water pumps, and other heavy equipment have been seized, disrupting the networks that have long exploited our lands and our rivers. In addition to enforcement, we are reclaiming what has been lost. 9 forest reserves have been successfully recovered from the grip of illegal miners, restoring these vital ecosystems under state protection. Our Tree for Life initiative is being actively rolled out across the country, targeting the restoration of lands degraded by illegal mining activities. Steps are currently underway to repeal LI 2462 to formalize our commitment to end mining in forest reserves. Let me be clear, since my administration resumed office, not a single license has been issued to any company to mine in our forest reserves. The repeal of LI 2462 is therefore intended just to crystallize in law what we have already demonstrated in practice, which is our commitment to protect these forest reserves.
Such statement are President can't win. The people who are contesting the president's statement, nobody has been able to say, since John Mahama, Ebedi president, will issue one license, Amani Pebi or Ghana. These are things you need to look. Nabutan say, is the president willing? Omo beje license and omo Ghana in the name of Yakuta license, but omo ya Galamsey no. President we buy almost 9 months ni Oma ubia license. He was emphatic. More problem with the president's statement, and I'll go to Erastus Asare Donko's write-up. That's what I'm saying. So the write-up was out of emotions, but facts, he missed it. Because maybe he's pained about something. When you're pained about something, we understand. But when it comes to the facts are the facts. Now, the president said, under his leadership, Obedi Abaimu, on releasing one license, Emma Obia Ghana, meaning, Odinkaka Semi, also so percent a ponkono eka buonima to buonim. Some person ponkono ka e buonima to e buonim. So he has closed sa ponko buono. Now we have to deal with what is in the buo. Because won't deal with what is in the bua, you can't open that door for more ponko to enter or for more ponko to exit. Inti president say some person ponkono ka e buonima e was so yede udin ka to e buonim. Into obaye no I dare friend a license. Obi Bejiaka say, make a small scale mining. And so at the end of the day, as a chairman, want to now ended up doing illegal mining. No? He has stopped it for now. Nobody is taking license. And I was expecting you people to go out and say, that is the beginning of fighting illegal mining in Ghana. Because it was people getting access to a lot of license and going out there in the name of me having a license and practicing the illegality. So now we are going to take our time and look within those who have been issued license before we move forward. Into John Mahama by 9 months, what to a buonim or see the way buonim, we need to clean the buo. After that, we can open that a buono for us to get some in or get some out. So, as a journalist like Erastus, you have been on the ground more than I have been. You have first-class experience of what is happening on the ground. For the past 8 years, you have been on the ground, so you know. So for a president to even come and say 8 months or 9 months, ubia license, that should give you confidence. It should tell you that the willingness is there. It is not rhetoric. President Tekasendran or say they have set up Blue Water Guard and you're say payday. Near Waha and ye baby inter gala stop near the idea. The president said they are even going to add 2,000 more to just protect the water bodies, patrolling on just the waters. At least somebody would see water guards, blue water guards on the rivers and stay away a little bit. It is a way of fighting it. Now, the president spoke about a ban on the importation of excavators for Galamsey. As we speak today, the reason why Okotema port and installations excavators it was all because people who are doing illegal mining cannot come forward and claim ownership of excavators on Accra. The staple, John Mahama said, what 2 buonim. And we need to make sure we take care of what is in the buo. And for a government, for 8 years and the kufuado, yan 2 buo biamu. Yan stop the importation of excavators. Yan track excavator biao. This government has the will. The willingness is there. And that is the most important thing, the willingness. So, abide banners or stop it, the license, issuing of license, mining license, then abana you're ready to deal with the matter. Let's put our emotions aside. The yakum, the nipabia catch there, maybe especially the nipabia man can't. Let's put it aside and look at the facts. The president spoke about establishing gold board to streamline gold purchase. And the gold board aba omojuma the saying. Omo de emra bebre abehye ho. De emra nom de ahye de na beye. Apart from gold board inkwa ebeto Ghana gold every Ghana for abe Ghana for dia no. Osa de emra to sene be ya omo fa koti kwan so aye Galamsey se omo beton eye gold na ma eye den abontene fo no omo so dwumedie ne yebegu no. That is gold board ne dwuma omo bedi no omo di. It does not take a day, a month, 2 months, 8 months to do that. It is a gradual thing. The government has put things in place. The government is basically tuning the system. Into gold board it's not just to purchase gold. The gold board there is to protect your gold, and to make sure it protects our environment. How is it doing it? People now need license to be able to purchase gold on our market, meaning we will not get any black gold or blood gold or gold from what we call child labor or illegal mining gold. And as time goes on, all these people buying illegal gold and people dealing in illegal gold, they will fade out because there will not be a market ready to buy their fake gold. When I say fake gold, gold that wasn't mined legally. The fact of the case is that the government is willing. And I am saying this because of Erastus Asare, the write-up. Erastus, with all due respect, on the Acheampong journalism, on my first assignment, on the Acheampong said, this is what you say, this is what you do. I am very privileged to speak on his write-up when my boss gets something wrong. Now, the president also talked about plan to repeal LI near Tikromha, and all our forests was taken over by illegal mining. And the minute can say all the forests are Ghana and they are buying Asare the back. President Krakasa one through or see to be Galamsey for Sakofa tuno Emma Omo to Tunyama say Omo this soldier for Kwako just assassin. The president was real with us. Obianko Weka se men kasa ade no wasem. Mameko kanche Ghana for say yaje assassin nyina forest nyina be die ho. But osi no. The idea to be Galamsey for say room and so the president is being blunt, open, and transparent. What do you want the president to do? The president was making you understand the situation on the ground. The LI 2462, the president is 62. The president is making sure say any forest in Ghana. I thought that was what we have been screaming about for years. Now let's go to Erastus Asare, the right up no. Na afei men chewa. You see the right up. The reason why I have an issue with Erastus right up and I say the right up now Erastus Troyno, it is all about emotions. And he basically refused to address the matter factually. And that is where I have a problem with Erastus Asare. Now so tie some part of his right up or say the president did not inspire hope and urgency in the fight against Galamsey. I don't really know what you want the president to do. Maybe you wanted him to slang. You wanted the president to say he has put his presidency on the line. You want the president to just use some jargons. He's not going to do that. The president is going to be blunt with you. He's going to speak to you as a normal human being. He's going to give you the report, what is on the ground. So the urgency, I don't know whether you want the president to open his flap and take his dick out and say, this is my dick. No. The sense of urgency is the work being put in what they are doing, and the results are showing. Now, he watered down on a very precarious situation, just as he has done always. The president never, President Mahama, won't water down anything. From the beginning of his statement, he said he never underestimated the fight against Galamsey. So you are not being factual. You are being too emotional. You are being too emotional because you feel, say, why you're Juma as a reporter and some things have to be done in a certain way, a certain period. It doesn't work like that. We recognize your work. That is why Mianka Sam Nana 2482 Ebo Wabaso. But the way you want things to be done, when it comes to fighting a menace like Galamsey, it cannot be done at your pace. Galamsey should be strategically fought. You have to be technically smart. You reporting on Galamsey is different from somebody who is going to make implementations and taking decisions to stop it. Reporting on it is different from trying to stop it. Into your work and the work of the government is a totally different thing. As much as we appreciate you reporting on Galamsey, the people who are supposed to make sure they put their emra together to make it work, to stop it, it's a totally different thing. We all can comment on soccer. We can all comment on Black Stars. But not all of us can stand in the middle like Sibo and turn the game around. We can't. You being a reporter, I respect it. We all respect it. But when it comes to application of laws, because, and that would mean, sorry, boom, no, this is governance. You need to look out for the people. You need to look out for also their interest. You also need to understand and respect the law. You reporting on it does not mean that the way you report on it, which to you and to us, we respect and admire, it is not the same way when you want to do what? Fight it. When you are fighting Galamsey, you fight by using the law to fight it. And that is the part that my boss Erastus, you are missing. You are missing that point. You are becoming too emotional. Instead of you looking at things realistically, the president was being realistic. And I can tell you on authority, the president has never, when you say that precarious situation, just as he has done always, the president, since he became president, he has never defended any Galamsey activity in Ghana. So it will be better for you to retract and apologize to the president on that statement. When Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo the president, he did not even admit to say Galamsey Koso. He never admitted. Even when Chairman Wuntumi was into illegal mining, the Minerals Commission came out to issue a statement that a guy is mining without a license which is not legit. Nana Akufo-Addo in front of Ghanaians never admitted Chairman Wuntumi was into illegal mining. So when you make such a statement, Mr. Erastus, you are being too emotional. Let the emotions go down and look at the issues realistically. Team. Now, my mentor Erastus statement in so. And my team this Erastus. This is a Akufo-Addo when he was addressing the issue of Galamsey. And you want to say President Mahama. Where did President Mahama stand to defend or make it look like he's defending illegal mining? This is a Akufo-Addo.
Before I take my seat, let me respond briefly to the chairperson on the issue of illegal mining. I want to assure him and all of you that Acheampong mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak. Him and all of you that Acheampong mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak.
This is a president, de Akufo-Addo. Abrana wo Erastus, wako Acheampong mining site. Wa follow up, recover documents to prove say Chairman Wuntumi is doing Galamsey. The president stood on national television. You want to compare this to Mahama? When did you ever hear Mahama defend anybody when it comes to illegal mining in Ghana? You need to apologize to the president. I am very ashamed that you of all people, you lower the standard this way. You are lowering the standard. You are too emotional about the issues. I understand what you have gone through. Metia, and with all due respect, over America, out of respect, you paid me a visit. We talked passionately about how you want things to change, how you want to fight illegal mining through your reporting. I know, at a point, these same people, they threatened to kill you and your children and your wife. You even had to find a way to leave the country. These things all you went through, so I understand your emotions when it comes to Galamsey. But emotions does not solve issues. We are talking about real issues the president is presenting before you. You are getting it wrong here, my boss. You are getting it wrong. And this, I was shocked when I read your write-up. 90% of the write-up is all emotions. There's nothing factual about what you are saying. And a lot of speculations. At your level, you don't speculate. At your level, when it comes to speaking on Galamsey or illegal mining in Ghana, you are not supposed to speculate. I'll point it out to you where you were speculating. I want to fight illegal mining. I want Galamsey to stop. We all need to do our part. We are not supposed to be speculative. We are not supposed to be emotional. We are supposed to be factual. We need to look at the issues because it is only laws that can fight Galamsey, not emotions. I totally disagree with him on the withdrawal of IGP's men and accusing them of not knowing the difference between legal small-scale miners and illegal miners. The president never accused the IGP. He never accused the police. That's why I'm saying sometimes you need to take a breath. Take some breathing exercise. The emotions are too much. In the president's statement, he said there was too much confrontation between the police and some of the people involved in illegal mining. And he believed that it would be better that the police are withdrawn because when it comes to illegal mining, the way it is sophisticated, the line between legal mining, legal small-scale mining, and illegal small-scale mining or illegal mining is very light and very tiny. Even you reporting on the ground, sometimes you go to some sites, you cannot differentiate between illegal mining and legal mining. The only way you are able to differentiate is that, oh, this one is going into the river. But somebody might not be mining and then everything going into the river, but they are still doing illegal mining. So when the president says we are pulling the police, because maybe the police sometimes, they misunderstand the whole situation. The president never accused the police of doing anything. Sometimes we need to choose our words well. We need to choose our words well. We need to respect office. As much as we are journalists, we have the voice. We need to be very careful the way we put things out because that is what destroys or make. Now, you go on to say this. That is totally fallacy. That is total fallacy. It shows that it's either the president was ill-briefed about the situation in the ground or he was totally clueless of what happens on the ground. I am surprised at your level at your level as a journalist, you are using such words. I'm very surprised. I am very surprised. Maybe you are on a route to embarrass the president to make you look good. But you clearly know that what you are talking about here, the president of the republic, in his opening speech, he made Ghanaians understand what the government is doing about illegal mining. Now, when you made this statement, you were never able to prove that the president was lying or the president was deliberately or he was misinformed or he was not briefed well. You just made a statement, a flat statement, and walked. When somebody makes a statement like that about you, oh, Erastus Asare donko, or Kosai Tibi, and Okokava Galamsey, and Erastus Jessica, you'll be pissed off. Because you wouldn't want anybody to even think, say, what Kosai Tibi Akodiska. Until you come quickly on TV and say, no, that is my credibility, that is my name. This never happened. This is the president of the republic. He made Ghanaians understand. He made Ghanaians understand the air coso and the omoye against the fight against Galamsey. So for you to just come and use such statement, it's a total disrespect to the president. Total disrespect. And I know at this point, if you want the president's attention, if you go to Jubilee House and you want to meet the president because of the work you have done, this president, I know, will give you every room. So you don't disrespect the president in your write-up out of emotions. You don't do that. Whatever you need from the presidency as a reporter and from all the success you have chalked in reporting on illegal mining, this president will open his doors to you. So when you make such a statement, what are you trying to prove here? Now you go on to say this. Mr. S, do you want me to play one more video? My team is saying I should play this video to respond to something, and then we will continue with Erastus right up. All right, team, thank you very much. I just got it. It's here. Okay. This is the president.
The scourge of Galamsey is receiving much attention. We've established the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, as a Central Operations Command Center coordinating the national fight against illegal mining and its associated environmental degradation. In a coordinated effort across all security agencies and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, 440 excavators have been seized. Over 1,400 arrests have been made, with suspects awaiting prosecution. Over 300 Shamfang machines have been confiscated and destroyed. Over 900 water pumps seized from illegal mining sites have been handed over to the Ministry of Agriculture for distributing to farmers for irrigation purposes. Of Ghana's 288 forest reserves, 44 had previously suffered varying degrees of destruction from illegal mining. Notably, 9 of those reserves had become no-go zones due to the presence of armed groups. Through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and with support from the security agencies, we've successfully repossessed all 9 of these red-zoned forest reserves. However, over the weekend, the Jimira Forest Reserve and the Acheampong section of the Offense Shelter Belt was re-invaded by illegal miners after these were handed back to the Forestry Commission. The military is currently working with NIMOS to repossess those reserves and establish a permanent presence in those liberated forest reserves to prevent re-incursion by illegal miners. 980 personnel have been recruited, trained and deployed in the western and savannah regions. They conduct daily operations on major river bodies, serving as community vanguards to ward off illegal mining activities. An additional 1,020 personnel will be recruited and deployed by the end of the year, bringing the total force to 2,000 blue water guards. The next phase will focus on dechemicalizing and restoring our water bodies to their pristine state. Feasibility studies for this critical restoration efforts are currently underway. In collaboration with the Ministry of Transport, the Ministry of Finance, GRA Customs Division, and the Ports and Harbours Authority, we've instituted a system for the proactive tracking of all imported excavators and earth
So the
moving.
president said all this. Erastus, 440 excavators. We are talking about 1,000 people arrested. Today, the CJ, the Chief Justice, Mr. Bonny, or say they are thinking of putting together a tribunal quickly just for illegal mining, Galamsey issues. President said 300 champagnes. And omajini na ebi omashono. Or say 900 water pumps. Ya che ama ekuafo, ya jefi illegal miners in sim, acha ama ekuafo. The president was talking about 44 forest reserves. Oma fighting to get 9 out. The president was talking about 900 water guards who are protecting water bodies. The president was talking about adding additional 1,000. What should the president do? What are you disappointed about? Unless you want to choose what was there before today. And remember, what was there before today was 8 years. We are talking about 9 months in office. Let's not be hypocrites here. Let's put the emotions aside, Mr. Erastus, and look at the issues. You are my boss, and I respect you a lot. But you got this wrong. You are too emotional about issues. You need to look at the facts. Now, when I read your write-up, when I continue with your write-up, this is what's in there. Or say, it shows that it's either the president was ill-briefed about the situation in the ground, or he was totally clueless of what happens on the ground. Or maybe he's also joining the bandwagon of deliberate spinning of falsehood in a bid to give the dog a bad name to hang it. You are basically speaking out of emotions. You are doing everything possible to disrespect the president. Yeah. That is what you are trying to do. And you know, in doing this, you are basically undermining your own report. Because I can show you report upon report where you have admitted that this government is doing better than the government that wanted to kill you. This is a government that is 8 months in power. Just 8 months. And the things that I am showing you, the things that I am playing to you, a government was in power for 8 years. We didn't see one. So what do you want? A DNA emoji. Is it an agenda against the government? We all want to fight Galamsey. We cannot fight Galamsey on speculation, disrespect, and personal or emotional feelings. No. We can only fight Galamsey by making sure the law works. How is the law going to work? We need to implement those laws and see through them. Now you go on to say this. I challenge the president to name a single licensed small-scale mining entity that is mining responsibly on the ground. That is why when the president came into office, he shut the door. He hasn't given anybody a license. You are shooting yourself in the foot. You are challenging the president to show you one small-scale miner That is why when the president came, he said, I am not going to issue license like the way Akufo-Addo issued license like a crazy dog. I am going to vet what we have. Under MPP, Erastus, maybe you have forgotten yourself. This is what your own fake news multimedia you put out when it came to issuing of license. This is your own Akufo-Addo. The government that we voted against. Akufo-Addo issued 2,037 licenses. 2,037. 2,037. So if you are challenging the president to point out one small-scale mining company that is doing legitimate mining, there is a reason why the president stopped issuing any license from the day he came to office. He has never issued any license. And that should tell you that this president wants to protect you and protect Ghanaians. Imagine the president who issue 1,000 licenses by now. So there's been crazy leap. There's been massive approach. The willingness is there. You can't challenge the president. The president has shown you the way by stopping. He has not issued a single license. Right before January 7th, Akufo-Addo issued 102 licenses. 102. Before the day before. What do you people what do you need again? Or you are still in that shock. It will take you some time. But sometimes we need to get out of the emotions. We understand. The fight is not an easy fight. Reporting on Galamsey is not easy. Putting your life on the line is not a joke. But hey, so every single thing is dangerous. And sometimes I tell people, say people like Erastus, fighting against Galamsey, they have taken the decision. So Ghana now a journalist. Leave the journalism job. My address any Ghana. I don't have my address in Ghana. So I perform my journalism from America. Until you can't sit in Ghana and tell me, say, oh yeah, Bema Bragana bear journalism. That is not where I live. I live in America. So I do my journalism from America. So Ghana now journalism na dangerous. Leave the job. Erastus name say dangerous. Still he's in there because it's the passion. He really wants to do it. So I keep telling people. What you are asking of the president, he has already done it by not signing any license. Ever since there, nobody has been able to be bold to say the president is lying. John Mahama about power no, you was signing one license. Ever since there will be are you not people happy about it? Now, Mamenko, forward in your write up. I'm trying to let you understand. Sometimes I'll say nyabotre, asamba nyabotre, asamoba aya mu nyabotre. Now, okasa bebra aya amount for whom weakness. Now you see, Mr. President, and this is Erastus speaking. Mr. President, some of your party executives listen to speculation, speculative journalism. Baby, awaye journalism eduno. Mention names. Obiantuminyo bibia. Otunfo said to Tawichi wa maodie award. Mention names and stop speculation. Because I want you to mention names for John Mahama to take action. Because John Mahama ka or say so be wona abemu na say ye chew say oh illegal mining Galamsey or be make sure say mbrani no bedi or be pamon. So at this point, why are you speculating if you want Galamsey to stop? Then it means you are not ready to fight this menace. You are being like any ordinary person on the street who is speculating. Mr. President, some of your party executives and appointees who were not happy with the way they were pouring sand in their gari started a propagandist agenda to give the dog a bad name just to hang it. No. You are playing around words. If you really mean business, Erastus, if it's not about emotions, and you say, what you just wrote here, it defeats you as a journalist and all the report I'll be free on the ground ever Ghana for. Because baby, I'll go report to free me new hobby. Wherever you go to do the report, obi any hobby. Then there's no need you going back there to report from the ground. What's the difference between you and the president? Because the president is not on the ground. You are on the ground. So if you're going to speculate, then you and the president, you don't have any right to criticize the president that he does not know what he's doing. Because the difference between you and the president at this point is that he's the president, he's up there. He cannot come down. That's why he has a minister. You are a reporter. You have the opportunity to go down there. So you need to prove to him that you have the job done. So mention the names. Especially when the president has told you, when we do evidence, we conduct evidence and get to know, what are you scared of? Unless you are not ready to do the job. You go ahead to speculate more. Today, as I write after the president's submissions and compromised position, no. You need to retract some of the statements you've made. You have to apologize to the president. You. And I keep telling you, you are my boss. But I feel your emotions is driving you somewhere it's not supposed to drive you. You have put compromise in inverted commas. You are trying to protect yourself. What you cannot do. Compromise position on Galamsey, many illegal miners are meeting in Samra Boy and other areas. If you know illegal miners meeting, what is stopping you from telling the president who you are saying has been compromised? What's stopping you from telling the minister that this guy is an illegal miner? This person is an illegal. So it means you know the illegal miners. So if you know the illegal miners and the president is telling Ghanaians, you know, you have first-hand information. Why are you not giving it to the president and his team? Why are you not reporting to the minister? But you are speculating. You are now becoming a danger in the fight against Galamsey. Yes. Because if there are some people at Samra Boy who are doing what? Who are gathering illegal miners and you know about it and you have names, why are you now speculating? You have to be factual. Speculative journalism has ended a long time ago. And what I am doing tonight, Obibaji said, my name is boss or problem. I am protecting the integrity of Erastus Asare, who is my boss. I am protecting what he has done. I am protecting his legacy. I am protecting the fight he has been fighting till now. Maybe he's becoming too emotional. So the basics and ethics, he's missing it. I will not sit here and say everything is rosary on the ground. I know the things you go through on the ground. I know the threat on your life. But the issue here is that we cannot also sit and speculate. We cannot sit and speculate. We need to be factual enough to prove or make our case. You are putting a lot of allegations out, disrespecting the president. But from the time I started reading this, your write-up, you have not been able to factually prove anything. You are speculating. You are speculating. Speculative journalism does not come in here. Now you go on to say this. They say they have been asked to go back. They say they have been asked to go back. Who says? So right now, you are writing everything based on speculation. This is Erastus Asare. The Erastus we all know. The Erastus who is factual, who taught me the job. Now you are reporting, you are writing and saying they say. Who are the people saying? Who are the days? They say, who and who are the they? The illegal miners you know. So you know all these illegal miners and you have not told the government, you have not filed a report, you have not made it public. You know all these people. You know all these illegal miners and you are hiding it away from us. This is terrible. They say they have been asked to go back and erode the gains we made. Let's serve a warning. Mr. President, you are repeating the mistake of the previous regime and you know the consequences. What are the mistakes? You know the mistakes the previous regime made. And you know these illegal miners. You are hiding them and keeping them and telling the president that he's making a mistake. What to akoko and now the president say abua beni. My boss, what go to anoma and now the anoma the beche John Mahama say anoma be bonidin. You know the illegal miners. You even know that they are going to meet. You know that they are at Samurai Boy. You know their locations. What is your job? What to anoma now the beche John Mahama? You are making the same mistakes. The same mistakes in the The same mistakes in the nim. Was a bois na aban eku Galamsey. Now unim. Omo enim baby omo miti enim say illegal miners wa. Then you are saying he's making show us and let us all come out and fight it. Well, I don't think, say, Erastus, if you do a report on NDC executive who is involved in Galamsey today with video evidence, facts, and documentation, the president will sit there and say, I don't care. No, this president is not a fool. John Mahama Onyakwasia, he respects people's opinions, but that does not mean he's a foolish man that anybody can just use anything against. So, from what I am reading, you are basically part of the illegal miners. I don't know, as long, maybe as you started reporting, you have been friends with them to the point where it is becoming difficult for you to pinpoint and tell us who they are. Because me maybe any illegal miner. Samurai Boy, men ko hoda. Me wa fanane a coach Sama text. Coach Mensa, Tony Mensa. He's my father's brother. He's my uncle. Coach Mensa is dead. May his soul rest in peace. Men ko Samurai Boy da. I cannot tell you what is in Samurai Boy, but when I walk down, you know what is there. So you are preventing the government from fighting illegal mining. With all due respect, boss, it hurts that I have to do this today. But if we all want to get things done, then we have to be realistic with the issues. You go on to say this. I find a bit lame some of your answers to questions on Galamsey. Which of the answers did the president give? That is lame. The disrespect, the emotions, the frustration. You think that president has to speak in a certain way, give you a certain answer. No, you don't control the president. You don't control the narrative. You don't control the decisions of the government. Your job is to report on the facts. And at the end of the day, if the facts you put out, nothing is done about it, you have done your job. But you cannot say that the answers the president gave that I heard, that you also heard, you cannot sit and say it was lame. What makes you say the president's answers were lame? Don't just write. Don't just write. You have built something for yourself out of frustration and emotions. But maybe there are some people you have spoken to that are not doing what they have to do. Does not mean you have to try and run down the goodwill of the president, of the government. No. This is totally wrong. This is totally wrong. You have gotten it wrong. Now, people are going to see you in a different way. Because all the successes this president has chalked in 9 months, when you compare what John Mahama Mwaya in 9 months to what 8 years, you don't even have to write this. With all due respect to you. But at the end of the day, you were not able to tell us what should be done. Somebody asked the president about what we call what's the thing? State of emergency. And yesterday, the president answered that question. This is what the president said when he was asked about Galamsey fight, state of emergency. Listen.
Joshua from GH1.
Good evening, Mr. President. I am Joshua Kujumensa, GH1 Television and Star FM. I'm glad to hear that you personally are telling us that indeed steps have been taken to repeal LI 2462. But then I want to find out from you, the pro-environmentalist groups and then civil society, they want this declaration of a state of emergency. Where's the difficulty in declaring that state of emergency? Thank you.
I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency. We have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate any such thing. There are laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have. And if it becomes necessary for a state of emergency, then we'll look at it. It means we have to go to Parliament. The president can't just declare a state of emergency without, doing going to Parliament, because there's a limit to how long you can maintain that state of emergency. And so I believe that we still have leverage to continue to fight Galamsey without necessarily implementing a state of emergency. It means that we have to delineate the areas where the state of emergency is operational. And if you look at the area where Galamsey is taking place, it covers several districts of our country. And so we would do it if it becomes necessary. But for now, I think that we've given the security services enough powers to be able to deal with people who are found to be involved in Galamsey.
So which part of the president's statements that you call lame? Sometimes when we learn the grammar, we should learn the grammar well. Let's not just learn the grammar and write anyhow. Answer President Mbaye, state of emergency, or say, there's a reason why in Tia, or you're very cautious about state of emergency. I couldn't hear, say, focus state of emergency. Now, let me break something to you. Why I will share my name, my boss, Erastus. The reason why I'm not Ghana for to send me. Now your TV so, radio so, Eka say, Ekufuado. He needs to make sure state of emergency because of Galamsey. It was because the government wasn't working. It did not show any will. There was no willingness to work to fight Galamsey. When people were screaming that we need state of emergency, a state of emergency because of Galamsey, it was because the Ekufuado administration had stopped fighting. They didn't even start in the first place. That was the time where a sector minister, from Acheampong, at the report, said, Mr. President, in your government, in your Jubilee House, where anyway, President, so people were like, this government is not willing. And if it is not willing, it does not have the will, then there should be state of emergency. So that is why people like us, John Mahama, and the whole world were saying, then Ekufuado, if you are not going to take a move, you are not going to make a move. If the will is not there, if your party people are doing it, you are standing in public defending Chairman to me, Minerals Commission, Akase, or the illegal, or the certificate, or the mining, illegal, into illegal mining, then it is better you call in state of emergency, you put state of emergency there, send your into the state of emergency and amount for calling. It was because the government, the president, the whole MPP government, the administration, they were not willing to fight it. But John Mahama said, there's the will. And he has stated things he has done. For a president to come into power 9 months on signing lines in CBR, the will is there. For a president to come to power 9 months, mining our forest reserves, or see or making sure say mining our forest, the will is there. When the government says, hey, I'm establishing gold board, and that illegal miners to me and town gold, and my foreigners and fangane and say yensona, the person and the government is willing. So the willing is there. Why do you need what we call a state of emergency? Why do you need it? The president said, we have not even exhausted everything. The policies are there for Gold Board to put out to help us retrieve our land, protect our gold, protect our vegetation. Those policies in the Krampon, measures in the Krampon, it has not been fully implemented. This government is working. So when you say the president's answers were lame, where are you coming from? I can debate you anywhere, my boss. You need to be careful the way you use your words. Especially when you have dealt with international media, you have dealt with international reporters. You need to be careful the kind of words you use. You don't attach emotions to your write-ups and your report. The person has given you clear-cut reasons why now I can't do that. Because the reason why people were calling for that was because we had a daft president, I know with Jimmy. He wasn't acting. And you know it more than I do. You were on the ground. His people were looking for you to kill you. Nobody was putting any measures across. Party people were doing Galamsey. We saw sector ministers bring out a report. The president said he's not heard about it. So what were we asking for? What did you want us to do then? But today, there's a government that is willing to do the job. So you don't just make such statement and disrespect the president that his answers were lame. I am saying you have the right to criticize the president, but you need to be respectful in your criticism. Because when you make such statement without backing it with any tangible facts, then it makes you one of those people. I know you are hurt. I know the kind of work you have put into the report against illegal mining. It's tough, yes. But hey, Your reporting cannot make the laws. Your reporting can help the government, guide the government, make laws to fight illegal mining. So there's a difference between reporting and there's a difference between implementing the policies, measures to stop illegal mining. We need to understand this too. There's a distinction there. So Mahama on your day, some per se call back to MPP. I'm on radio so say during MPP time, no, not Galamsey ni ye. We want you to come and sit on radio and say that. But say, Sana Mefro, I love you and I know you love me back, no homo. But if you want to tell Ghanaians that what this government is doing so far, what this government has done so far, it is nothing, and that what the NPP were doing was better, come and tell us on TV, on Facebook, that you believe that the NPP is better fighting Galamsey than the NDC. But until you make that statement, with all due respect, say, shut up. With all due respect, but say, shut up. Because before you criticize, you do assessment. You put left and right on a scale and you assess them. You have been on the field than anybody else. To prove me wrong, tomorrow morning, go on TV, go on radio and prove to Ghanaians that the fight now against Galamsey by the NDC government is not better than the NPP one. Just do that. Do video and stop the write-up. Now, you made some... I totally disagree with him on the withdrawal of the IGP, and I don't want to... I think I have made my point. When it comes to the fight against Galamsey, John Mahama ni Abanwe, they have done what they have to do, and they are doing it. You see, the first thing you do when you want to fight Galamsey, and then John Mahama ye no, baby na Ghana ye wono, Galamsey issues baby dey kodru ye no. The only thing I also hear first is to stop issuing license. Finished. Now the first thing John Mahama ye and say, from there obedi president Oma obia license biem. So it means say whatever we are dealing with, what mess na ikufuad muja obono. And that is what they are fighting. Inti ama kofi bua mono. The fight they are fighting today. Say ende ama kofi bua ejina TV so na o screaming na say or fighting illegal miners na say or fighting Agia forester. The license na ikufuado any MP before the man nipe bia omo ka say omo ko legitimate mining na omo turning into illegal mining no. That is what we are fighting. So for a president to tell you say me ma obia enya den Mema obia license BM until we find solution, clear path. We see, say we are making progress. You know, that alone is about 60% of the fight. So imagine, say John Mahama so buy, you know, or no so buy no also BM no all my license. Obia ba makwaji legitimate license. So adia bechina to anka yeti ha, anka forest bimpo Ghana. But this president came and said no license again. Me nyo, makuntao, me party nyo, me wafao, nobody's getting license. And to date, no reporter can tell Ghana for say John Mahama will be licensed for Ghana. 2, President said, Mati Gold Board. Gold Board Nejuma Dini say, ye gold na nipebi afa kuti kwanso, ede eye Galamsey area kono. Gold Board ede embra ebe tutu kwemwa, ye be protecti ye gold no. Gold ni be ye dia, Ghana form ye illegal mine no. Samra na Gold Board ede tutu no. Ebe mana ye ding, amo mu say, Galamsey kura be ya kono. Inti Gold Board de embra ne ba, so obi ni license kura na or to Galamsey gold na osuro. It is not going to happen today. The Emrano Mudiabano, it takes time to fade out the bad ones. So the government is willing. Now, the same government say, Sa Emra Ekufu the share say, Yewura forest mu, Eyadian, Kwaye Nianko to Galamsey, Nko say asasana. President will say, nobody, Yemra say, Obien to Mura, a Diana President Mahama. Unless you people have some different idea. The president is not doing well. Then the president here. He was not even listening to any fool in Ghana. This guy, in less than 9 months, decisions are what taken. If we go, it's not going to be smooth. It's a fact. There's a human factor to it. Gold is precious. Every single human being loves gold. There's a human factor. There's greed inside. So you're not going to get up and say 7 months, 8 months, 1 year, my fighting Galamsey. No. But you see, the more you go, the more you implement, the more you correct the mistakes. That is how you fade out illegality. Who says to say, yeah, the 9 months, that mess, and the munyama, sorry, a church from Kwasia, bro, with all due respect to my boss, Erastus, not you. I'm okay, I can in some TV so. It means some of you don't even understand what you're talking about. You people don't understand. You have no idea about fighting illegal mining. This is a whole industry. When the president was saying, see, household, our Ghana, almost by 6 million households, and almost rely on small-scale mining. Almost 6 million. Now, and they are sorry, pa. Now, John Mahama say, Yako Parliament, Ako Jimra say, the state of emergency at Ashanti region, so we are and yet small-scale mining will be ma. Wouldn't be able Ghana. I'm asking you, Erastus. Yeah, sorry, and now end this for Parliament. Now, because state of emergency and to infant to the whole Ghana, so and it also has a time limit. Now, President, state of emergency, President, state of emergency. Now, Ochanopa, President Mahama, sorry, say, Yamfa state of emergency and to Ashanti regions because Galamsey ne cost too much. Wouldn't be able to Ashanti region. But the implementation of Gold Board, it is checking the system and fading out, taking out the bad ones. It is making it difficult for those into illegal mining, omunya gold illegally and trying to sell to foreigners. You know, Ghana will find a way to get those gold. Because let me tell you, say a armed robber will rob Bank of Ghana, akoria yesika. Na ya chino. Now the sikali be AC hospital. Ya in case or ya robenti or say Ghana ban ya hospital no. Ya ji sa hospital no. Ya ji sikali kogu Bank of Ghana. Ni atia edien. Ya tia armed robber no.